Hey there guys, it's Salis, and today I have the pleasure of announcing to the YouTuberverse, Ratchet and Clank. I'm bad at this. Oh yes, Ratchet and Clank, the game of the movie based on the game. So already we're off to a bad start before this has even begun. But this isn't just a movie tie-in, oh no. It's a HD remake too, and sadly, Ratchet and Clank is now approaching the lemming singularity of being eternally remade on every single generation of PlayStation consoles. I bet the folks at Insomniac are kicking themselves for releasing the first version on the PS2. If they hadn't and released it on the PS1, they could have made an HD remake on the PS2 as well. Hooray! But now that we've left the world of gaming for the movie universe as well, I suppose the sky's the limit. So what has this re-release brought us? Well, for a start, it looks great in terms of detail, but there are issues. Like how Ratchet always looks either sad or surprised when he should be looking happy. But, you know, when Insomniac give with one hand, they take with the other, and they use their feet. Because now, the game is more focused on looking like the movie. As a result, it's lost the colourful charm it once had, and it gets very dark in places. And this doesn't help at all when Ratchet can get swallowed by quicksand you didn't see in the dark and were never warned was there. But that's really the only major complaint I can make with the design, since I can't comment on the models of the new characters because the game was released before the movie it was based on, and as a result, I don't really want to comment because I don't want to base it all on comparisons from a trailer because I'm not a total knob. The game, however, has always had a great soundscape, and this iteration of it is no exception. Music is always upbeat, fast and exciting, and it really draws you in. However, if you don't adjust the volume levels, the music is going to be drowned out very quickly by gunfire, and of course your supporting cast of goons who only take part in the game just to justify them being in the goddamn movie. And the voice acting is its usual high standard, because unlike a lot of other movie tie-ins, they use the same voice cast as the movie, although I think this has more to do with the movie using the same voice cast as the games and not the other way around. Although, just a nitpick here because I can, Chairman Drek has had a new voice actor, and unlike his previous appearance in the series, he doesn't seem to have the charismatic comedy villain voice he used to. At least not as much. And this may seem like a minor complaint, and it was, but I think it was kind of intrinsic to his character. And when you consider the fact that many of the original lines are reused in this game from the first outing, the new voice just can't carry those lines off with the same level of charismatic sleaze, to use a badly worded phrase. But there's more to the world of Ratchet and Clank in terms of sound when you begin your gun collection. Many sounds have been reused over the years, and this is no exception. Save for perhaps a little polish here and there, most sound the way you'd kind of expect them to. And some of the new guns introduced here have some wacky and unique effects, but that's sort of damning with fine praise, but I'll go into that when it comes up. But let's try and explain what's actually going on here first. I'm not going to bother with a spoiler alert this time. The story has been out since 2002, and I'm really not spoiling much at this point, because it's identical to the first plot in the series, save for a few unique movie elements. But here we go. Long story short, the blog, led by Ultimate Supreme Executive Chairman Drek, have totally fucked up their planet beyond all hospitability, and have embarked on building a new world all of their own. How, you ask? Simple, invade other planets in the galaxy, make notes of the best bits, then steal the prettiest chunks off the worlds and smash them together Voltron style into a new home. Because science! Naturally, this upsets a few billion people, and they send out calls for the Galactic Rangers. Enter the movie plot. It's a plot device to justify adding more characters to the series, led by the famous Captain Quark. Meanwhile, Ratchet, who later in the series is revealed to be the last Lombax in this dimension, is working as a mechanic, and he tries out for the Galactic Rangers recruitment drive. After being snubbed by Captain Quark for essentially not being him, well, being better than him, really, Ratchet witnesses the crash of a ship containing the defective warbot who soon becomes known to the world as Clank. So it soon becomes up to Ratchet and Clank and the rest of the tag-along rescue rangers to stop Drek, save the various planets of the galaxy, and restore what passes for peace in a universe where missile launchers are sold for spare parts. This is a plot from way back when, A nice simple hero versus villain plot with some funny moments and colourful characters, and as a result it still holds up well 14 years later. However, this is A movie tie-in, and B, a modern game. So there has to be a double cross, and we get 2 for our bucks shoehorned in here. First of all, Captain Quark sells us out because of his forced jealousy of Ratchet, and the whole Drek as the main villain plot gets wrapped up in a kind of loose way when Dr. Nefarious offs him and takes control of the weapon he designed and built, and then he uses that to destroy a star system. So why he needed Drek to begin with, since he designed and built the big gun anyway, is up for question here. The movie moments they add it spoil it somewhat as well. The story uses the framing device of Captain Quark telling his newest prison daddy the story for how it all happened, and as a result there are some quite weird moments, like where prison daddy corrects Quark based on the storyline of the movie that isn't even out yet. Still annoyed about that. Or where Quark just makes shit up, and of course the fourth wall is blown royally to shit in the first 5 minutes in the stupidest way possible, so any sense of immersion is wasted anyway. Which brings me on to the section where I have the most issues with this game. The gameplay itself. Aside from the various bugs I had, like the swing shot targets not realising they were swing shot targets, or camera fuck-ups that caused instant death once the camera woke up and realised it was supposed to be doing its job, and the dodgy grind rail controls, and the lock-on weapons not locking onto the thing they were supposed to be locking onto, etc., etc. But in this version, the team at Insomniac decided to take what it had learned from later games in the series, such as allowing Ratchet to level up and increase his health as the game went on, and include them alongside the older style stuff, which means that Raritanium came back to upgrade weapons. Which means that every time you have a new weapon, it's fucking useless. And because the first game didn't have Raritanium, it is shoehorned in so badly it's hard as shit to get, and you spend more time grinding old enemies with the one gun that increases Raritanium drops by enemies. You do more of that than making progress in the story. Of course, there are certain mainstay weapons of the series, like Ratchet's classic Gadgetron Omni Wrench and the Combustor and the Predator Launcher. And it's always nice to see and hear Mr. Zircon. But there are also, new weapons to keep people invested, like the Pixelizer, the stupidest weapon ever. Replacing the shotgun weapons like the Shard Reaper, this gun does what it says on the tin, and pixelizes enemies, making them look low-res and retro. Retro in massive inverted commas there. And even makes noises like old 8-bit games. But aside from the fact that this looks so awkward and sounds so disjointed from the rest of the game, can I just ask, what is the point of going to the effort of making a second HD remake with all new fur effects and ear physics, only to give us a gun that makes all enemies into E.T. for the Atari 2600? I surely hope someone must have thought this was shit before it was fed to the company dog. But it's not just combat with shitty, stupid weapons. This is a mascot platformer after all, so there must be platforms. And granted, they managed to get most of this right for the most part. They give you a jetpack, which allows you to bypass some sections but not others. That's where it gets dickish. And Ratchet's decision whether to grab the edge of the ledge he's trying to jump onto or just bounce up and down like an angry pogo enthusiast is a mystery all unto itself. Clearly decided by the same flying spaghetti monster who decides if a turret or support character bullet will hit an enemy or just phase through them. Fortunately, there is one area which remains relatively untainted. These are the Clank-only exploration sections, where you do a little mini-level as Clank, with a tiny health pool and limited combat capability. But these are more puzzle-based, and the ability to reprogram other robots at will is an interesting feature, because Clank's always had these sections where he has to get help from other small robots, or the Zoni, or the Technomites, various other things. The only thing I don't like is Clank's new combat system. It seems a lot more dynamic than it used to. It used to seem like you needed the help. In this, it was a case of, why do I need Ratchet when I've got magic extendo hammers? Don't ask. And if you are able to stomach the game to its story end, the customary challenge mode, or New Game Plus to us smart people, is unlocked. And this time, as well as shooting for all those gold bolts, there's also a card collecting mini quest which gives you little pointless buffs and other stuff like that. And of course a chance to nerd out over characters who aren't in the game. But Like most Ratchet and Clank games, the only reason people like them is for the story, and of course the comedy. I'm not sure if this is enough to justify replaying it again in a hurry. So, in conclusion, there's nothing to be said for Ratchet and Clank that wasn't said the first time or when the HD collection came out for the PS3. And sadly, the adherence to the movie it spawned hasn't helped. I appreciate the fact that the studio tried to learn from the series' evolution, but still, too much of the shit that got on our tits back then was left in, and too much removed. I think I know now what my major issue is with this iteration. The character has gone. The series had a great cast of characters already without having to add new ones, and now we don't even have the Gadgetron help desk lady anymore, and she was a mainstay of the series for as long as ever. The main villain has lost his sense of charm, and even the plumber, who was a standout for being aware of the medium even when the leads aren't. He seemed really phoned in here. One line that just made me think, fuck off, was when he simply said, "See you in the next reboot." And that was just the gaming embodiment of pain itself. Also, just a quick note, making Ratchet into a wonderstruck child rather than a teenage hero set on danger and chaos doesn't help anything. So yeah, I suppose it's worth your time if you enjoyed the movie and wanted to play the first game with all the movie bullshit included. But if you just wanted to enjoy a story with a HD repaint, get the Ratchet and Clank HD collection for PlayStation 3. So I think in all honesty, I'd have to give this game 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's the standard level of movie game mediocrity, and that's just a bit sad. So, thank you all for watching, and until I see you again, I've been Salis, I'm off to go and play a real Ratchet and Clank game, and I will see you next time.
Well, you look about all fixed up here. Now promise me you'll get that infobot to Captain Quark.
I promise. Thanks for your help.
No problem. See you in the next reboot.